Have you ever wondered how your favorite apps get built and then, boom, suddenly have new features? Or how teams tackle these massive, super complex projects in a world where everything is constantly changing? If you have, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify Agile, the modern way to get things done.
Okay, let's just start with a big question right away. Picture this. You're building a brand new app from scratch. You've got a plan, sure, but you know that once people start using it, you're going to get feedback. The market's going to shift, new ideas are going to pop up. So how do you manage all of that without the whole project just falling apart? This is the fundamental problem that every project management style tries to solve.
For a long time, the most logical answer seemed to be plan everything. Plan it all perfectly, right at the start. If you could just nail down every single requirement and design every little detail up front, well, then you could build it right the first time. This very structured, step-by-step approach is called the waterfall model. Think of it as the traditional way of doing things, kind of like building a house.
So what exactly is waterfall? Well, it's a linear, sequential process. It's like a set of stairs. You absolutely have to finish with step 1 before you can even think about putting your foot on step 2. It's the same idea here. Each phase has to be 100% complete and signed off on before the next one can even begin. This makes it super structured, super predictable, and it puts a huge emphasis on writing everything down from day one.
And this shows that flow perfectly. You start by gathering all the requirements, everything the thing needs to do. Once those are literally set in stone, you move to design. After the design is final, then you build it. After it's built, you test it. And finally, you maintain it. Just like a real waterfall, everything flows in one direction, down. But here's the catch. What happens if you finish the entire project and then realize a requirement from 6 months ago was, well, wrong? Trying to change something is like trying to make that waterfall flow back uphill. It's incredibly difficult and really expensive.
And here's the thing. The modern world, especially the tech world, isn't that predictable. It's often described with this acronym VUCA. It stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And in a VUCA world, customer needs change on a dime. Your competitors are always launching new stuff, and technology is always evolving. A rigid plan you made 6 months ago can quickly become a perfect roadmap to a product that nobody actually wants anymore.
So, if the old way doesn't work so well, how do we build things in this crazy, changing world? Well, enter Agile. And it's really important to understand that Agile isn't just a process, it's a totally different way of thinking. It's a mindset that is built from the ground up to embrace change, not fight it.
So what does this new mindset look like? Well, Agile completely flips the script. Instead of one giant, long project, you break the work into these small, repeatable cycles. We call them sprints. Think of them as a series of mini projects. And the goal of each and every sprint isn't just to be busy. It's to deliver a small, working, valuable piece of the final product. This creates this constant feedback loop, so you can adapt and change direction on the fly without the whole project going off the rails.
Now this slide gets right to the heart of the Agile mindset. Back in 2001, a group of software developers created what's called the Agile Manifesto, and it's all based on these 4 core values. Now it's not saying that things on the right have no value, they do, but it's saying that the things on the left are more valuable. So, talking to people is better than blindly following a process. Delivering something that actually works is better than having perfect documentation. Working with your customer is better than arguing over a contract. And, most importantly, responding to change is way more valuable than just sticking to a plan.
Okay, so Agile is the big idea, the philosophy. But how do you actually do it? Well, the most popular way by far is a framework called Scrum. If you've heard any buzzwords from the Agile world, I bet you've heard of Scrum.
Scrum is designed to be simple. Think of it less like a detailed step-by-step instruction manual and more like the basic rules of a game. It doesn't tell you exactly how to do your work, but it gives you a structure. The roles, the meetings, the artifacts that you need to manage complex stuff. It's all built around those short cycles, the sprints, and it's designed to make teamwork, accountability, and getting a little bit better every single time the natural way of working.
In Scrum, there are 3 main roles. First up, you have the product owner. This person is basically the voice of the customer and the business. Their number one job is to decide what the team should build and in what order to get the most bang for the buck. They're in charge of that master to-do list, which we call the product backlog.
Next, we have the Scrum Master. Now, this is not your traditional boss or project manager who tells people what to do. Instead, think of them as a coach and a facilitator for the team.
Their job is to help the team use Scrum the right way, to get rid of any roadblocks that are slowing the team down, and to protect the team from distractions. They're often called a servant leader because they serve the team, not the other way around.
And finally, there are the developers. And this doesn't just mean software coders. It's the whole cross-functional group of experts you need to actually build the thing. So designers, testers, engineers, writers, whoever it takes. They organize themselves, they figure out how to get the work done, and as a group, they own the responsibility of delivering a high-quality, working product at the end of every sprint.
The whole rhythm of Scrum is driven by the sprint. You can think of it as the heartbeat. It's a fixed-length period of time, usually between 1 and 4 weeks, where all the work happens. And during that sprint, the team's goal is to create a usable, potentially releasable piece of the product. As soon as one sprint ends, the next one starts right away. This creates a steady, predictable pace that actually provides a lot of stability in a chaotic world.
Each sprint has a clear structure thanks to 4 key events, or meetings. It all starts with sprint planning, where the whole team gets together to figure out what they can get done in the upcoming sprint. Then, every single day, there's a quick 15-minute daily Scrum. This is just for the developers to sync up and see if anyone's stuck. At the end of the sprint, the team holds a sprint review to show what they built to stakeholders and get feedback. And the very last thing is the sprint retrospective. That's where the team looks in the mirror and asks, how can we work together even better next time?
Okay, so where does all this work come from? It all lives in one place, the product backlog. This is the single source of truth, the master to-do list of every feature, fix, or idea for the entire product. And the product owner's job is to keep this list organized and prioritized, so the most important stuff is always right at the top.
So let's go back to that mobile app we were talking about. An item on the backlog is often written as what's called a user story. So for example, as a new user, I want to sign up with Google so I can create an account quickly. See how that format keeps the focus squarely on the user and what they're trying to achieve? It's all about the value.
So, at the beginning of every sprint, during that sprint planning meeting, the developers pull a chunk of work from the top of the product backlog. That chunk becomes the sprint backlog. This is their plan, made by them, for them. It's their to-do list for the next couple of weeks, and they own it completely.
Okay, so we've looked at the predictable world of Waterfall and the adaptive world of Agile. Now let's really put them side by side and see how they stack up.
This table really lays it all out, doesn't it? You can see that deep philosophical split. Agile is all about those short, iterative sprints, which means change is expected and welcome. Waterfall locks you into these long, sequential phases, making any change a massive, costly headache. And that affects everything else. Planning in Agile is a constant activity, while in Waterfall, it's this huge effort you do just once at the start. But the real game changer here is feedback. With Agile, you're checking in with your customer every few weeks, making sure you're still on the right path. With Waterfall, you might not get any real feedback until the very end, and that is a huge risk to take.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, so I have to pick one or the other. But the truth is, in the real world, a lot of companies have found that the best solution is actually a mix of both.
This is what we call a hybrid model. You might even hear it playfully called Wagile or Agilefall. It's a really practical approach. It says, hey, some parts of a project really need that old-school structure and predictability of Waterfall, while other parts would really benefit from the flexibility and speed of Agile.
So how does that actually work? Well, a team might use Waterfall for the big upfront stuff, like setting the overall budget and high-level design. But once it's time to actually build and test the product, they switch into Agile sprints. This gives you the best of both worlds. You get predictability where you need it, for your budget, for your stakeholders, but you give the development team the flexibility they need to innovate and build the best product they can.
So, after all of this, the real takeaway isn't about deciding which method is the best one. It's about understanding what each one is good at so you can ask a much smarter question. Which approach, predictive, adaptive, or maybe a unique hybrid of the two, is the right tool for your next project?